What's up, guys? Ron Harris here, and I know the press conference is happening now. I'll do highlights of that later. I just want to talk real quick to you guys about the fact that the classic physique weigh-ins, the heights and weights were done, and apparently about 10 guys didn't make it, but Mike Sommerfeld was not one of them. He did make it. However, we did not get to see what was going on. So let me show you real quick what it looked like in that room. There were 3 screens. Okay, so let's make that full screen, and you could see those screens in the front of the room were where the officials and there was a photographer, apparently. They were back there while these guys, the 212 and the classic physique competitors, were being weighed and having their heights measured for the classic guys. I think the men's physique guys have to do that too. But after all that controversy about certain guys like Sommerfeld being allowed to weigh in or to height taller, his height being measured like 1.5 inches, 2 inches taller than what it actually was, and people question Romandino not being able to make the height and weight. They made it, but we did not get to see it. So I find it very odd that it was not done in front of everybody, especially the fact that they're streamed this live. If you're going to stream it live, which they did, why on earth would you not have it in front of everybody, that portion? When I heard it was going to be live, I'm like, okay, great. There's no funny business. It's going to be right in front of everybody. They can't, quote unquote, cheat. They can't allow anybody to skate by with big hair that's not being pushed down all the way, nothing like that. Your mom's flip-flop? Yeah, this thing was super sketchy. There's absolutely zero reason I think why they take athlete behind closed doors. Yeah, very strange that Mike didn't take any interviews, kept dodging questions about his height weeks before. It just feels off. Yeah, so you remember this clip from the Cutler cast, which was just a few days ago. So this is what Mike said to Jay.
What's your weight cap in classic?
Secret.
No, weight
What's
cap.
your cap?
What's your cap now? How much do you weigh?
How much can you weigh for your
Yeah,
height?
what's the cap in your height?
Secret. Well, no, it's public. What is it? What is the cap in men's?
It's 212.
In order for his weight cap to be 212 pounds, his height needs to be at least 5'9". After comparing him to Jay Cutler, who is supposed to be 5'9", and comparing him to Keon Pearson, who is supposed to be 5'5", also Derek Lunsford, who is 5'5", and this bodybuilder right here, who is also 5'5", next to Bekrus Tabani, who is 5'9". You guys tell me, what do you think? What is Mike's?
Okay, so apparently he weighed in, or he heighted in at less than 5'9". He heighted in at somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9". So somewhere above 172.7 centimeters or 5'8" in height, which allows him to be, I'm sorry, yeah, 5'8", 5'9". No, I'm sorry. So he did come in at 5'9". So 204 was the weight he's allowed to be. Is that right? Anyway, he's going to be 204 on stage. Let me check that. I want to make sure I get this right for you guys because I did have it in my banners here. Okay, so up to including 5'7". We know he's taller than that. So up to including 5'9" would be 204. So he's between 5'8" and 5'9" is what he was able to get in for a height. But why did they not do it? Iblis as we want. So unfortunately, Olympic TV has been selectively candid and strategically transparent. Yeah, remember they made a big deal out of saying we're going to have transparency this year and we're going to do this publicly. They didn't say that. They never said it was going to be in front of everybody for the media to see, for the fans to see. But they did say that every classic physique competitor was going to be heighted at this show, which is standard anyway. I don't know. I was under the impression that they were going to settle in on a permanent height for everybody. It was going to be the average of 2 or 3 different measurements, something like that, and they would never have to do this again. But for this show, because there was so much controversy, particularly about Mike Sommerfeld, who was the runner-up last year to Bumstead, and who is most likely the winner of the show, most likely. We got Ramondino, we got Terrence Ruffin, who are definitely in the mix for the win as well. And other guys like Matt Grego, Breon. There's some great guys. DeBoule, some fantastic competitors, but he is the heavy favorite to win this. But the controversy was, is he being allowed to carry more muscle mass for his height than the other guys, which would give him an unfair advantage? And we still don't know that. We have to trust that the officials have integrity and that they pushed him down, pushed his hair down. So he thought he was going to be able to be 212. That was the weight that he was originally thinking he was going to be, which would mean he would be over 5'9". However, it's clear the fact that he made weight tells me that him and his coach, Neil Hill, probably realized he's not going to be over 5'9". That was a lot of hair. And you can see his hair is dry here. He didn't have much of gel, because that's what people are saying. He had like a whole tube of gel in his hair. It was like concrete. You couldn't push it down even if you wanted to. Clearly, his hair was product free. If there's any gel or anything like that or mousse, it's very, very light. It's not making his hair stiff as a board where you can't push it down. But still, he did weigh in. He made the weight. So if he was planning on being 212, it's clear that him and Neil decided, well, just in case, we're probably going to have to get down to 204. And they did that, as far as we know. As far as we know. The whole thing was field rushed. Yeah, so let's say Mike wins the Olympia. Don't you think his win might be tainted due to all this? Yeah, I mean, they should have done it in public just to allay any suspicion so that people couldn't come back and say he probably wasn't as tall. But the fact that he did plan on being over 5'9" or over 175.3 centimeters, and he was not, that does tell me that he's, at least they had a contingency plan, him and Neil, to get down to 204 just in case. And that's what happened. So if Mike makes weight, but nobody sees it. Did he make the weight? I mean, I guess we just have to trust the officials that they're doing the right thing. And if he missed the weight, because we know Michael DeBoule, he missed weight initially, and they gave him a chance to do whatever he needed to do. I don't know, run around the building 1,000 times, injectable Lasix. I don't know what the heck he could have possibly done in that short amount of time, because they gave these guys about 2 hours, I think it was, from the initial time they made weight to come back at the very end and try again, and he made it. I did hear that 10 guys or so did not make it. And this is a big group. I'll show you the list. How do we know we really made weight? Well, we don't. We have to be trusting. We have to trust. That's the whole point. There's Matt Grego. There's Ramondino in the back. So strange not to show it. I agree, Walter. I mean, it's not a good look. The fact that they said we're going to have transparency, we're going to make everybody get their height and weight, which is pretty standard again in Classic. But why would you not show it? You'd think, were they worried that a lot of guys wouldn't make weight and they were going to lose half the lineup? I don't know. It's very strange. This whole thing feels rushed. What's up, Ron? I don't know the way he made height. He's obviously shorter than that. Well, let's see. So again, he had planned on being, so he thought he was going to be able to be, no, sorry, that's not right. Open, that's my Olympia predictions. Up to and including 5'9" would be 212. Okay, so he thought he was going to be between 5'8" and 5'9". Is that right? I got two different measurements there. 212. So I'm sorry, no. So he was up to and including 5'8". So he was between 5'8" and 5'9". But previously he had measured in at over 5'9", which means he was allowed to be 212. But they dropped the weight. You saw that the video that's gone viral with Neil Hill being interviewed by, I think it was a Brazilian media outlet. He was very, very upset about this, but they did what they needed to do. They got him down to the weight that he needed to be, or we think so anyway. Not a good look for the Olympia. I agree. I think people are running professionally or hell-bent on making Mike the next golden boy. See, if you want to get into conspiracy theories, like what does Mike Sommerfeld do for the Olympia? He's popular, but he's not a Bumstead. He doesn't have 30 million followers like Chris Bumstead. I think Ramon probably has more followers than he does. I'll check for you in a second. So, if you're going off social media popularity and thinking, okay, so Ramon Dino has 6.3 million followers. How many does Mike the Badass have? Mike the Badass has 716K. He doesn't even have a million. He doesn't even have 750,000. 750,000 followers, Mike, while Ramon Dino, 6.3 million followers. So if they wanted to grow the sport, if they want to go by popularity and who can do the most with the title, Ramon Dino is probably your better choice. Obviously, he has far more. We're talking less than 750,000 followers for Sommerfeld versus 6.3 million for Ramon Dino. So if you're talking about conspiracy theories and who do they want to be champion, it would make more sense for them to want Ramon to be the champion versus Mike, just based on his popularity. Years ago in a video, the Super Young Mike City's 170 meters. Yeah, I actually have that. I'll pull it up right here.
Wiegen in der Classic 88 Kilo oder so, ne? Also offiziell 1,73, aber eigentlich 1,70.
Okay, I need to do that again without the comments because most of us don't speak German. So we'll do that one more time, guys. So this was a few years ago, and this was Mike talking to Dennis James about
Wiegen in der Classic 88 Kilo oder so, ne? Also offiziell 1,73, aber eigentlich 1,70.
Okay, so if he's 173, if he's 170, where does that put him? To including, so that would say he was admitting to being 5'7" a few years ago, which would mean he could be 197 pounds. Today, he supposedly weighed in at or got a height between 5'8" and 5'9", which allows him to be 204. So, yeah, funny business. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Go back to that. It was roughing. Yeah, I don't need to be in full screen for this anymore. So, yeah, it's. I wish they had done it publicly. I wish we had all gotten to see exactly how tall he was and how tall everyone was, and then let's see the weight. That would have been the ideal situation. They did not do that. Years ago in a video with Erson Dames, yeah, that's what we just saw. Yeah, did he grow since then? I don't know. I mean, he's a young guy, but I don't think it's possible to grow in height much more than maybe a centimeter or two as an adult. Once you reach your full adult height, which let's say by 21, 22 at the latest. And in that video, he was probably about 25 or 26 years old, I'm guessing. He's still a young guy. 170 is 5'6.7", 190 max. Yeah, well, let's see. What was it? Up to and including 170. They would give him 197 if he was between 5'6" and 5'7". Is that right? Yeah. Oh, yes, right. He would have to be 170 pounds. Jeez, that doesn't make any sense. All right, I messed that up. So, goodness gracious. Why don't other competitors who are obviously 5'9" taller call him out? There's picture mistakes to such people. I don't know. I remember like Logan used to call out Bumstead because there was debate about how tall Bumstead was. He supposedly grew a half inch or 3/4 of an inch, which bumped him up into the next weight class for Classic. He wasn't happy about that, Logan. There's Keon. Picture him staying next to such people. Dude isn't 5'9". Well, no, he weighed, the height they got was somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9". Stone Cold says, don't trust anyone. If he's 5'9", I'm 6'4". I mean, Palpatine. I'd like to be 6'4". Shit. I'm down to 5'7.5". Especially doubt they treated Mike differently than everyone else. Let's not forget 10 guys missed the weight. They went through the same process. Yeah, and I mean, if they really wanted to give him special treatment, they would have just let him say he was whatever. Let's say he was going to come in at 212 and he planned on being 212, and him and Neil Hill had no intentions of coming in any lighter because that's the best weight. Like, let's say that's the weight he was roughly for Olympia last year when he took runner-up and when he won the Arnold Classic back in early March. So if the officials were just going to let him do whatever he wanted, then he wouldn't have had to worry. He wouldn't have had to get down to 204, which sounds like he did because they gave him a height which was between 5'8" and 5'9", which made him come down to 204. And apparently he did make the weight. So if they were just going to let him do whatever he wanted, they would have said he was over 5'9". Are those 10 guys strictly the classic guys that filled away? Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen a breakdown of that yet. If anyone knows for sure, let me know in the comments. He looks more like 5'9" or 5'7" with a 10-incher. 10-incher. Yeah, I mean, good-looking and well-spoken guy with incredible physique. They wanted him to get into C-bum shoes when they're filled him. I don't know, Kalyan. I don't know. We're really reaching with that. Like, Ramon Dino's not a good-looking guy. Like Terrence Ruffin's not a good-looking guy. You want to do the racist thing and say, well, he's white? Well, I mean, you could do that, I guess, but I don't buy that. There's Samir Trudy. So a bunch of 212 guys. Yeah, man, I don't know. More politics coming into play. Just look at this list, man. I want to show you this list. How many guys we have in Classic. It is a big, big group of guys. Just to show you the list real quick. They don't have numbers for everyone yet. But here we go. All right, so Classic Physique. It's alphabetical. I don't know. I didn't count all these, but oh boy, that's about Kim Angel there, 5th down the list. I heard he was one of the guys did not make weight. It just goes on and on. Horst Marcello. It's a lot of guys. It's I'd like to count it out. I think it's got to be about 60 guys altogether, 50 or between 50 and 60. Not as many as we had like last year, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Share the screen instead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I guess Mike wouldn't give an interview, which, you know, that's his prerogative. He doesn't have to give an interview. Let's see. We're only talking about Mike, but Ramon was also under the same scope after Logan's claims. Yeah, a lot of people were saying Ramon Quiros Rocha was not as tall as he was claiming to be, but we don't know. More politics coming into play. See, that's the problem is I wish they had done it in front of everyone, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We'd be saying, okay, fair and square. We saw how tall they were. Camera was right on the measuring stick, which we never got to see that. The scale, we got to see the weight. Because I told Giles on the Power Hour that we did a couple of days ago, I'd been to a couple of shows where I would live stream it, and they didn't stop me. They didn't push me away. Take it out of here. This is private. It was the check-ins for Classic guys at shows like Chicago Pro, Tampa Pro. I remember being there, Indy Pro, and scale was right. They had the scale here with one official. They had the measuring height stick thing right next to that with another official. And I was sitting there with my phone live streaming for the MD YouTube channel, and nobody stopped me. And nobody was missing the weight, but it was public. You know, there were people around looking. A small group of people were just making sure it was what it was. So you'd see it, and they would call out as soon as they got the height, they would call it out. When they got the weight, which I could zoom in on the scale, they would call it out, but we didn't get to do that. So is there any way 100% know if he's 5'9"? Well, we know for sure he's not. They just measured him somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9" today, a couple hours ago. So he's not 5'9". He's between 5'8" and 5'9", up to and including 5'9", I guess. So maybe he is exactly 5'9" by the measurement. We don't know. Ramon is super popular. Yeah. Again, Ramon has 6.3 million followers on Instagram. Mike only has, I wish I had that many, 776,000. So not even a million. So if you're going off popularity and, you know, who could get more eyes on the sport or eyes on the division or the Olympia, Romodino's your guy. you want Ramon Dino as your Olympia champion if you want massive popularity. Brazil is huge fan base for bodybuilding, for fitness. They buy tickets, they fly out to the shows, even when they're in the US. They buy the pay-per-views. This is a joke. It's not a joke. Jay Cutler 5'9". Yeah, Jay's 5'9". Ramon is on a 6 million. Yeah, he's actually 6.3. And Mike is only 776,000. So Ramon, much, much more popular. Mike's second place should be vacated. Whoever placed third should move up. Well, we can't go back in time, guys. They're not going to do that. C-Bum didn't have that many followers when he started. Golden Boy for 6 years, which built him up. Maybe they want another Golden Boy. Let me put some video up some posing video up while we're just yapping, so you don't have to just look at me this whole time. Look at Sommerfeld from, was this judging last year? Yeah, so this was the final judging from last year, the final call out with Mike, C-Bum, and Urs, who is now much, much bigger than this. Big, big difference. That's like baby Urs compared to what we just saw. He knowingly took advantage last year to place high. Well, you can't blame Mike. If you want to blame anybody, you have to blame whoever was doing the height last year, whoever measured that. And I don't want to throw people under the bus, but you're saying Mike's cheating. Well, Mike's not the one who called out the weight. Mike's not the one. Did he have stuff in his hair that made his hair impossible to push down? Maybe, I don't know. That would be one thing. I've heard people are throwing out all kinds of things that they've heard that these classic guys do, like put layers of glue on the soles of their feet so that they can be higher, or wear socks with padding inside them. I mean, if there's a way to get an advantage, and being bigger for your height in classic is an advantage, of course, there's going to be some guys who are going to look for that. Mike is short as hell. He's not even average height. Well, average height in the US is like 5'9.5". Average height in the Netherlands is 6'1". Average height in Malaysia is 5'4". So I guess it depends on where you live in the world. God of Frog says, I think if politics came into play, they'd favor Logan more because he's English-speaking, American, but the caveat, he's not going to be long. Why wouldn't he be long-term? Why wouldn't Logan be long-term? I'll put Logan up while we're talking. I love Logan's routines. Logan hasn't given me an interview since I messed up his nickname with the preview for the Arnold that I did with Jose Raymond way back in, geez, that must have been like end of February. There's Logan, guys. You can look at Logan while we talk. There's a mistake in the translation. You're talking about when Mike was talking to Dennis James about how tall he was? I'll speculate as well at the same time, be technical about it. Mike saying what he said is not an official statement. That was a few years ago, and he could say he is taller now. Yeah. He said 171. Okay, so if he's 171, let's see, 172. Up to including, all right, so that would put him in, he wouldn't be in 5'7", so 170 up to including 172. That would still mean he would have to get down to 197. If he was 171 centimeters, that should say centimeters, not kilograms, guys. So that's my mistake there. So if he was actually 171 centimeters, his weight would be 197. But if he's a little taller than that, if he's, say he's 170 up to including 175 would be the next weight. That would allow him to be 204, which is what he weighed in, or what they heighted him in for today. Yeah. So he said 171. It will be his word against, we'll never know. Mike said, in fact, 171. We just talked about that. And he supposedly had to measure him several times. I'll tell you, though, height is a funny thing to measure. I mean, I guess if you had like a carpenter's level and you put it next to your head, that would be one thing. Some more stuff up there. Because I've been to the doctor's office, and like when they're out of the room, I go to check my height, and I'll do it a couple times, and I get like slightly different heights, different times. So this was last year. This was last year, guys. This was not this year. Last year, it was done where people could see it. Yeah, you can see that it's there, but they're not pushing down on the head, and he does have a good amount of hair there. So last year you could videotape or you could live stream. Somebody there with a camera phone was doing that. Somebody got that footage last year. This year it was behind the screen. They did not allow anybody to see what was going on. Let's see, top 4 confirmation. What did I show you guys? Bumstead? No. Bumstead. AC. Trying to find you some good stuff to look at while we're talking. AC. Mike wins Classic. So that was him winning Classic earlier in the year. So the video 170. Whether it's 170 or 71, it still puts him lower than what he's been measured at. Well, they did height him in at up to and including 5'9". So he's today he measured in, his height was somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9", because 204 was the weight that I heard he was allowed to be. He's 173. Yeah, that's what he said years ago. And maybe he did get a little taller because he looked very young there. Discussed by us, no shame with this promotion. Speaking German, 6'5". I wish I was 6'5". Imagine that. Imagine being 6'5". Wow. If anyone thinks that every competitor in this team will just sit here and allow them to cheat, is a bit of a stretch. Sure, they have so much sense of painful. Well, they couldn't pay attention, J-Matt. They couldn't pay attention because we couldn't see the heights being measured. It was behind a screen, which I really wish they didn't do that. I really wish. Dead Ties didn't get second last year, didn't win the Arrow. That's true. It's utter BS. Mike is a hack. Cheated like fuck. Well, he didn't cheat. If anyone cheated, it's whoever got the height. It's not him. I knew my special was supposed to be racist. No, I didn't say it was being racist, but I mean, if you're going to, white privilege is a term that gets thrown on a lot. It is a real thing. It's not like white people don't have any advantages in this world over people of other ethnicities, races, whatever you want to say. It's not like a myth. There is validity to it. So Ramondino doesn't speak English. Terrence is more of an introvert demeanor. Mike is more of a marketable guy. Well, the German guys are telling me he's not even well liked in Germany. He's not very popular among the fans there. I mean, Urs is far more popular. If Mike wins, he'll be known as a cheating champ. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because he's not the one that did this. Mike looks too big for Classic. Yeah, I mean, we've been wondering for a long time, how does Mike make the weight? He looks so big compared to the other guys in Classic. And if he was being given a height measurement that wasn't his actual height, if they were allowing him to be taller, maybe because of his hair, then yeah, that would not be right. Bible includes hypertrophy hairstyle. I mean, Breon's got some big hair. They must have really pushed down on Breon's hair. I'll be at the person. No, I'm not even thinking of this. All I'll do is see him in the morning, wait for the best man to win. Yeah. We're missing the press conference now, but I can watch it on replay. If you bought the pay-per-view package, there's so much content. Yeah, I agree. I wish they had done it in front of everyone where the media could see it, the fans could see it, the other athletes could see it. So there shouldn't be any question. Weight cap should be reduced for Classic. No, I disagree. I mean, they've bumped it up twice. They've increased it twice, which over 9 years' time isn't that, it's not like they've increased it 5 or 6 times. It's only been increased twice, but I don't think they need to increase it anymore. It's fine where it is. If you want to just take away the weight cap and let these guys weigh whatever, then I don't know, what's the point in having Classic Physique? They should all just go 212 or open. I mean, you could say, well, maybe we could just judge them on aesthetics. You would still have to have really good aesthetics. And I could see the point there. That's one school thought. I've said that before. I said, forget about the weight caps and the heights and that. Just judge the best classic looking physique. And if it's so big, but it still has classic lines and a small waist, what's wrong with that? Mike making weight is an absolute joke. He's not fucking 5'8". How tall do you think he is, Kane? If you're 5'8", I mean, I think I was still 5'8" the first time I met Nick Walker. So I've stood next to most of these guys on multiple occasions. And I can get a pretty good idea of how tall they really are. Sorry, I need a drink. IPB, boy, oh boy. Phil Heath coming in on stage now. Oh, is you talking about the press conference? The Epstein file, they'll see actual recording tapes of the height chickens don't exist, guys. Epstein file, that's funny. That is funny. Oh, that's Mike winning again. I'm just showing you a call out. This is from back at the Arnold. We had Matt Grego, Logan Franklin, Mike Sommerfeld, Wesley Vissers, and Michael DeBoule there. Just give you something to look at while we're talking. Made way to lower cap this time. Yeah, I guess they allowed him to be 212 at last year's Olympia and at this year's Arnold Classic, but today he had to be 204. So he measured in shorter today than he did previously. So that's a good thing. Ramon is better built, better looking, with a better personality. Yeah, I mean, I wish Ramon would learn English, only just because there's so many fans that are English speaking. It's kind of almost a universal language in the bodybuilding world. Most people do eventually pick it up. I mean, like Big Ramy picked it up. Ersk's got the biggest hair of all. He does have pretty big hair. Laverne once said, Joe Weider said he could flip top between Sean Flex himself, but Dorian would win. Yeah, those days were very sketchy with the judging, guys. It's not that bad anymore. Flex Lewis looking like a buff Conor McGregor. I've said that many times, Mike. I can't say that's the thing. I'm going to do a watch party, guys, for the various events, but I will be freezing or pausing the video, because anybody who is streaming the live video of the pay-per-view, they can and most likely will get their channel a copyright strike filed against their channel. Olympia TV they're not screwing around with this because they don't want to lose money. And if you're streaming their content that other people are paying $75 each person, so let's say you have 1,000 people that watch your video that didn't buy the pay-per-view, you just cost the Olympia TV $75,000. If you had 10,000 people who watched your video, you just cost them $750,000 in lost revenue. So yeah, they're not going to sit by and watch people take money out of their pocket. They're not going to stand for that. People talking like if they gave you an unfair advantage, you wouldn't take it, seeing a high ass horse. Talk about the press conference. No, I knew you were. Flex Lewis fits in a pair of jeans. Olympia responded to the hype only to attract more viewership. They're the ones who've been giving their athletes advantage over height and weight. So if they change it, it would make them think you want to look bad, not the athletes. Agree. Let's throw some Terrence up there. I love to watch Terrence pose. I think Terrence is just a fantastic, phenomenal poser. He's a really good poser. There's my Donald Trump for you. I'd love to see him win. You know, I'm happy for anyone that wins, but Terrence is such a cool guy. Such a cool guy. I'd love to see him win. Chris Bump said, coming on stage. What should happen? The Arnold should live stream the next Height Chickens as a grand statement to show they were losing. Yeah, there you go. Arnold people, are you listening? Are you listening? That's a great idea. They should do that. I've never seen Mike in person, but I have met Ramon several times. Ramon looks so much taller. Ramon is 180 centimeters. There's not a possibility Mike is only 7 centimeters shorter. They do seem like very different heights when I've seen them next to each other. In life, when we usually have some gut feeling something is off, or they're not being 100% honest, we're usually right. It's actually like this. Yeah, that's why they say trust your gut. Let me go back to that. Do we know how tall any of these guys are? So, well, Wesley's very, very tall. So DeBoule on the end there, he is 5'9". I know they're not next to each other, so it's hard to say, but you can see Mike is not as tall. It looks like he's a couple inches shorter than DeBoule, at least an inch and a half or so. I wish they were next to each other so it was a little easier to make that comparison. Call I'm 6'1", 3/4 bare feet. Really? I think you're joking, right? If you are, that's good for you, man. My younger brother was 6'1.5" in his younger years. He's down to like 6 foot now. Funny how upset adult men go competing against BS controversies. How he's not in charge. Yeah, I mean, it's like the 212. Like, what if some of these 212 guys weighed in at 215 and they let them in? I mean, that would be bad too. That would be just as bad. It's not as few. I blame Iblis. Muscle Central, what's up, Mike? Official ultimately respectful. Mike knows his height. In legal terms, Mike would be complicit. Yeah, if this was like a legal issue, it certainly would be. Is it taking advantage or cheating? It's taking advantage. It's not cheating. Cheating is if he, if he did something with his feet, like put a bunch of invisible padding on the soles of his feet that you couldn't see, like crazy glue, layers and layers of that to make himself taller. That would be cheating. And it looked like when we saw him at the press conference or the check-ins, his hair didn't seem to have much gel in it at all. All this weight and stuff is BS. Anyway, you take the biometrics from your passport. When athlete turns pro, you measure medically 3 times a day. Yeah. Mike weighed in at 100. What? No, he didn't. He's obviously way shorter, they say, compared to people that are supposedly the same height as he claimed. Yes, you can blame the people who measured him, but he knows he's under 5'8", and yet he still won the Arnold. The man has no shame. Well, since it's not his fault that they let him, if they let him. I'm not saying, yeah, they definitely let him do it. I wouldn't, that'd be very stupid of me to say that because I don't know for sure. But if the officials were the ones that measured him at over 5'9" in the past, then that's on them. It's not on Mike. And if he had a bunch of stuff in his hair, they should have said, you know what, go to the bathroom, put some friggin' hand soap, wash your hair out, get into the hair dryer, come back here in a few minutes with your hair with all the product out so we can squish it down. Fabian Marin Classic. Stop it, Ronald White. Private my ass. We have no advantage. Oh, I mean, I don't think being white is as great as it used to be for people. Put it that way. Put Mike up again. Routine. Olympia, huge laugh. Masonic scum? Masonic. Are they affiliated with the Masons? This is it. Playing that game. They supposedly had to remeasure him several times. Now, I wonder if they were just trying to really push that hair down, all the way down. Olympia responded to the height hype only to track. They're the ones who've been giving their athletes advantage over height and weight. Yeah, I mean, it's not the athletes. The athletes, if the athletes didn't make it, they have no recourse. They can't say, come on, please. No. Could have really struck judging criteria to follow which clearly define the class scoring because lots of guys back in the golden era wouldn't be following those caps. Oh, I agree. I mean, the golden era, if we look at, there were guys who inspired this division who were too heavy for it. Guys like Barry DeMay, Bob Paris, Lee Labrada. He might have made it, actually. Yeah, I don't know. For his height, who knows? If they change that, it would make them look bad, not the athletes. Mike loses something when he has to make weight, but seeing it seems sketchy. So if he had to lose 8 pounds from where he was planning to come in, which seems to be the case, we'll see it when they have their Wins Classic judging Saturday morning. Saturday morning, we'll see if he looks any worse for wear, if he looks any smaller. He's actually 5'6". Looking down at him, wow, I don't know if he's 5'6". I would have given him 5'7". Press conference is Seabaum, Heath, and Flex Lewis talking. Yeah. What's up, Mike Cox? Mike and I had a really good time talking to King Kamali last night on the Meathead podcast. Arnold Schwarzenegger was never 6'2". Yeah, I don't know if he was shy of 6 foot. He was probably 6 foot. I mean, guys, heights and measurements have always been hyped up in like pro football, pro wrestling, pro bodybuilding. A guy with a 21-inch arm, it'll be reported as a 23-inch arm. But yeah, I mean, like Hulk Hogan, they used to bill him as 6'7", 340 pounds or something. I seriously doubt he was 6'7". He was probably more like 6'4". 6'5", still a big guy, but yeah, that's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Go back to last year's. What will I go back to? What will I show you next, guys? I already erased Wesley Bumstead. Oh, Ramon. Yeah, that was Ramon at last year's Olympia. Give Ramon some love. Ramondino. That was at last year's Olympia. Perhaps they put up screen because some had to strip down. Oh, I mean, you shouldn't have to strip down to anything less than your underwear. How much do your freaking underwear weigh? I mean, if say you're a 212 competitor and you weigh in at 212.1, do your underwear really weigh more than, do they really weigh that much? I don't know. What happens to the guys that didn't make weight? I guess, Mike, they're done. I guess that's it. They're out. They're out of the show. But I haven't heard of any big names who are out. I don't know who didn't make weight. I'd be curious to see. We only knew one. We only knew one guy who didn't make weight. I'm just curious. I'm going to look at what's this? The home screen. They measured me short, so I'm going to lose 7 pounds. Mike DeBull made it. Who didn't make weight? I haven't seen a list. They didn't make weight. It was only 2 guys listed I've seen. If anyone knows if there's a full list anywhere of who didn't make weight, I'd love to see that. If it's rigged to be rigged for Ramon, biggest fan base by far. Yeah, exactly. Like they say, well, they want Mike to win. If they want, quote unquote, want anyone to win, it would be Ramon. He's got 6.3 million Instagram followers. That's a lot, guys. I mean, that's not Bumstead level, but it's a lot more than Sommerfeld. Sommerfeld has 776K. So not even 1 million. And Ramon has 6.3. So Ramon has like more than 7 times many followers as Mike does. I was going to hold a gripe about Mr. Olympia pricing point 75. I agree, but it's 4 days. It's actually 5 days of content. God of Frogs. It started yesterday with the Amateur Olympia. Today there's content. Today's Thursday. Friday morning, noon, and night. Saturday morning, noon, and night, and then Sunday morning for the victory seminar thing. So it's 5 days of content. If you average it out to all the hours of content they're going to provide for you, it's probably like $1 an hour. I know. I mean, I didn't want to pay for it either, but what the heck, I did. Lots of filler as well. Brazilians were trying to disqualify Mike so Ramon could win. Yeah, those Brazilians. Those Brazilians, they're always up to something, aren't they? Anything good on Instagram that we could show? Anything going on Instagram with these guys? Should I put Ramon up? Ramondino? What the heck? Why not? Ramon doesn't have any good updates. If I saw some good updates, I would. His stuff is like all dark. There's him and his girl. They got into Vegas. Yeah, I know. I should show this to you guys. Yeah, okay, I'll share it. Ramon. Yeah, like I said, if anyone was going to be quote unquote good for the sport, good for Classic, in terms of bringing more fans to it, Ramon's got so many fans, guys. He is so popular. Obviously, Brazil it's a hotbed of bodybuilding and fitness. So yeah, they would give it to him if they want to give it to Arnold. Is defo not 6 foot? Well, not anymore. Hate to break it to you guys. You're all going to get shorter as you get old. If you live long enough, you're going to shrink. Those of you who are 6 foot, if you live long enough, you might be like 5'8" or 5'9" by the time you die. Hate to be grim, but even pro wrestling heights are often not inflated. And one of the term used, build height. Yeah, build height. He's billed at, doesn't mean he actually is. Tiptoes Sommerfeld. Well, I don't think they were letting him tiptoe through the tulips on this one. Sibo was introvert himself. Look at how impacted Classic. Weight cap should absolutely be reduced on Classic. 355. And men's physique at 212 should be abolished. I stand by it 110%. Keon right now weighed in at 111.9 pounds. If he competed, you mean 211, 211.9, not 111. He competed right now, top 4. Oh, I definitely think Keon would do very, very well. No doubt in my mind. Should I put Keon up? Maybe I'll put Keon up. I know we're not talking about it, but what the heck? Just put Keon up while we're talking. We'll have something fun to look at. Mike is just being dishonest and not honorable. Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Well, I mean, he could have gotten a little bit taller since then, but he did say 170 centimeters. No honor or morals anymore. Winning at any cost is not a real win. Officially on 173, be reality on 170. Yeah, so that was, I don't know, 4 years ago, someone said. It's been a while. Ron, you're definitely right. Mike isn't hated here, but he isn't loved, if that makes sense. 85%, 90% love Urs, less than 50%. Press conference is a joke right now. They still don't have anyone on. It's been 45 minutes. Press conference is rough. I mean, I enjoyed, I was actually privileged enough 2 years ago, the last Olympia I attended, I got to be in the front row as one of the media people that Dan Solomon selected. I think there was 7 of us. He allowed me to be one of the people asking questions with a microphone. It was really cool. Hope men going on earlier per Dan. Ah, nice. Do you think the Olympia needs to show film of the measurement? I wish they would. I personally don't. They say they will remeasure, and they did. Mike made weight. Let the games begin. I put my trust into the FBB. Lily Browder would be fine for current day classic division. Yeah, he was like 5'5", 175 when he. Let's say, no, I'm sorry. He turned pro at 176. I think he was about 185 for all his pro wins. sort of BS I expect from Dave Palumbo, not the Olympia. Olympia has to release the footage, otherwise the Arnold Classic will broadcast height. I mean, the Arnold should do it anyway, regardless of what the Olympia did. I think the Arnold should do it. But you know what? I don't know if it would be up to the Arnold. I think the IFBB Pro League would have the final say as to whether they allowed it to be broadcast. So, you know, the promoters, I don't know if they would have the final say. I suspect that they would not. What height can we safely? So Mike measured in somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9". This was last year, guys. Yeah, so you can see him next to Bumstead. Bumstead's supposed to be 6'1", so I mean, I could buy him being 5'9" there next to Bumstead. Yeah, he doesn't look. He's shorter than Bumstead, but he's not like. If he's not 5'7", I don't think. I think he probably is like right around 5'8". I think that's probably accurate. Really don't care anymore, says Arthur. Mike hits the height, which I really believe he didn't. All this theater took away the last bit of respect competition held for me. And if he hit the proper height, he would have already said so. Subtract 10 pounds and 1 inch from what a bodybuilder says. See, obviously in real life, we want to be taller. And for these divisions where you get to weigh more for being taller, that's a good thing. But bodybuilders back in the day, I think some of them would actually say they were shorter than they were and heavier just to seem like they were bigger. Shouldn't be such a fraud. Yeah, it's one opinion. Mike says, "What your mom still thought? What do you think about the Mr. Olympia not being in Vegas again?" Jay Cutler's all speaking. It was for. How about you over here? We're suffering from time zones. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would, as an American, I would hate to see it leave the USA. Just it's so convenient if we want to go to the Olympia. It's a short flight to Orlando. For me, it's like a 2-hour flight. Vegas, a little longer. It's like a 6-hour flight. Ramondino, Sean Ramondino. So a lot of the fans from around the world really would love to see it move to somewhere like Germany or Dubai or anywhere but Vegas, I guess. Is Evan supposed to feel crying about Michael from Brazil? As someone living in Brazil, 6 million followers, you can only communicate in Portuguese. Is very different. Someone like Mike speaks fluent in English language. Yeah, I mean, it would be to Ramon's best interest for him to learn English, and I hope he does. Ron hiding himself multiple times. Dogs because he didn't like ducks. Yeah, I want to be taller, Starline Fitness. I mean, I don't want to be 5'7.5", or I think they got me at 5'7.25". I mean, I was 5'8.25" in my 20s. I know that. But then sometime around 35, mid-30s, late 30s, I started coming down a little bit. And now I'm down, I say 5'7.5", they say 5'7.25". I mean, I don't want to get any shorter. I hate being short. No, people don't make weight. Have 2 hours, come back and try again. We all want a fair competition. In addition to being cut red-handed, meaning he's actually short, there's also a video of the height measurement where they include his hair in the height. Yeah, that is right here. Put that up one more time. What the heck? Yeah, that's the video of him being heighted last year. So it's been a while. If AI had 6 million, each one for $1. If I give me $1, I'd have $6.3 million. You know, it shows you not make weights. Someone else to win except Mike. Brazilian trying to have fair competition. Orlando, I don't know, man. You'd like that. You're in Florida, Mike. I wouldn't be mad about that. Bring it back to Orlando. I agree, Alon. I agree. Me gusta Orlando. Me gusta. Me gusta mucho. Only person I believe is Terrence. He couldn't interview, full transparent. I hope he wins. Best poser in bodybuilding today. Let's put him up again. I can't get enough of Ruffin posing. He's the greatest poser. He's amazing. Brazilians knew Ramon was no match Mike, so they tried to get rid of Mike. Oh, you guys are not loving the Brazilian fans. Ramon was also an influence before he became a pro bodybuilder. See, Keon Waite put on like 10 pounds. Imagine what he's unleashed like earths to build no cap in mind. Well, if he's 211.9 today, and according to his coach, Patrick Tour, he was ready at 217, like fully ready, and he still had to drop a few pounds. We will see him probably somewhere like 217, 220 for the Prague show, where he doesn't have to weigh in. Doesn't have to weigh in for open bodybuilding in Prague, which he's doing. That's going to be 2 weeks from now, right? 31, I'm already short of him. Yeah, it happens, man. It happens to everybody. Johnny Munster. Johnny Munster won the amateur. Great. Made weight for what class? 202? Why the fuck did they start the press conference? Somebody wants to hear old stories. So I'm not watching it. And apparently I haven't even missed a damn thing. And it's been going for an hour already. Keep the good work on. Thank you, JD. Appreciate it very much. Ditch the press conference. Mike wears thongs and stockings. Which Mike are we talking about? He said his own words in video. He was 5'7". Open man coming out of press conference. I'll let you guys go in a second so you guys can watch press conference. Why they even bother saying they're redoing the weigh-ins publicly while showing it privately? Yeah, I don't know. More non-Americans now participating than Americans. Oh, yeah, 100%. Makes sense. Well, they don't have to worry because the Olympia's paying. They pay for their travel. It's not like they're putting them out with an extra expense of flying from Middle East or Europe or Asia or Australia to come here. The Olympia pays for their travel. It's only for the fans that travel here. Yeah, that's a lot more money to travel to Las Vegas from somewhere like, Dubai or Saudi Arabia or South Africa or even Europe versus, someone like me. It's a much cheaper flight, obviously. Where'd I go? We started it. So it stays. Ha! Yeah, we did start the Olympia in America. That's true. If the weigh-in was rigged, what a chance to main event. Oh, anything's rigged. Look at that shit. It's a joke. What do I got to show? Boy, what am I even showing here, guys? I don't know. I'm showing Ramondino because I have nothing else to show. Well, that's a great shot. That's a beautiful move. Ramondino's got some incredible arms. It's a great physique. I mean, it's a pretty amazing physique, Ramondino. Absolutely. I wouldn't be upset if he wins. Olympia has to make peace with Vegas and scout for some other big cities. I don't know. I wouldn't want to go. New York City's it's a very high crime city right now. It's turning into the way it was back in the 70s when they called it Fear City, because they don't let the police do their jobs. It's the criminals are running wild in the streets. So no, I don't like that idea. I think Santos will challenge everyone opposed on the presser. Oh, I mean, love to see that. You'll find out soon. Can't get enough Rough D. Yeah, I'm a fan of great posing. I used to love watching routines of guys like Bob Paris, Lee Labrada, Frank Zane. Trying to think of someone from more modern era. Samson's a really good poser. I like to see good posing routines and people that put a lot of time and effort into their routines. I respect that. Derek can run now. All right, so I will let you guys go. So that's it. Heights and weights were not done in front of anybody. We just have to take the word of the officials that everything was done with integrity and nobody was given any extra advantage or allowed to be taller than they really were just so that they could make the height and weight. So they did eliminate 10 guys. I guess it does seem suspicious that none of those 10 guys were the people that were favorites to win, so to say. So none of the favorites. Daboul didn't make weight, and he's a top 5 guy, but he came back. They allowed him to do whatever for a couple hours and come back, and he did make weight. So we'll see what happens, guys. So keep your notifications on. We'll be doing some coverage tomorrow. I will do a live watch party for what's going on tomorrow. 212 judging, and of course at night for the finals for 212 and for the Mr. Olympia judging tomorrow night on this channel. We'll be doing that. So please join us tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys all watching so much. See you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.